Lisa Wright checked the navigation screen one more time. The ship had traveled farther than any human vessel before it. 6 light-years from Earth, the horizon floated silently near Alpha Centauri, humanity's first visit to another star system. All systems normal, Commander, said Jack Morgan from his station. His fingers moved quickly across the glowing panel. No signs of trouble, Lisa nodded. At 42, she had spent 20 years preparing for this moment. The 5-person crew of the Horizon represented Earth's best chance to find other life in the universe. I still can't believe we're here, said Amanda Miller, looking out the large viewing window. Stars shine brightly against the black backdrop of space. Alpha Centauri, we actually made it, Daniel Ross snorted from his security station. 6 years in a metal tube to look at more stars, exciting? Don't be such a grump, Olivia Grant said, playfully throwing a small stress ball at him. We're making history, Lisa smiled at her crew. They had become like family during the long journey. Let's begin our survey. Olivia, prep the sensors. Amanda, start mapping the system. Daniel, run a security sweep. Jack, keep listening for any signals. They all moved to their tasks with practiced ease. Lisa felt proud watching them work. Earth seemed impossibly far away now. Commander, Jack suddenly called out. I'm picking up something strange. It's artificial. Everyone froze. Are you sure? Lisa asked, moving quickly to his station. Jack nodded, his face serious. Definitely not natural. It's some kind of signal, repeating every 12 seconds. From where? Jack pointed to a spot on the screen. That small moon orbiting the 5th planet. Lisa took a deep breath. This was it. The moment humanity had wondered about for centuries. Plot a course. Let's check it out. The horizon changed direction, engines humming quietly as they approached the moon. As they got closer, Amanda gasped. That's not a moon, she said, pointing at the screen. That's a ship. Lisa stared in amazement. A massive vessel floated in orbit around the planet. It was at least 3 times the size of the horizon, with an unusual design that no human engineer would have created. Parts of it glowed with soft blue light, while other sections appeared damaged. It's alien, Daniel said, stating what they all knew but could hardly believe. Lisa straightened her uniform. Jack, try to contact them. Standard greeting protocol. Jack sent the carefully designed first contact message that scientists had prepared decades ago. Simple mathematical sequences followed by basic information about humans. For several minutes, nothing happened. Then a light flashed on Jack's panel. They're responding, he said excitedly. I'm receiving data. It's complex, but I think our translation program can handle it. The main screen flickered and an image appeared. Lisa held her breath. The alien had a vaguely humanoid shape, 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head. But its skin was pale blue, with faint patterns that seemed to shift like moving water. Large, dark eyes dominated a face with no visible nose and only a small slit for a mouth. When the alien saw the humans, it jerked backward violently. It made sharp, clicking sounds that the translation program couldn't process. More aliens appeared in the background, all showing signs of alarm. They seem afraid, Amanda whispered. Lisa raised her hand slowly, trying to appear non-threatening. We come in peace. We are humans from the planet Earth. The translation program converted her words. The aliens huddled together, clicking rapidly to each other. Finally, the first alien stepped forward again. You are the shape of the galactic monsters, it said, the translation appearing as text below its image. Why have you returned? The forbidden zones are yours. We have not entered them. Lisa glanced at her crew in confusion. We don't know what you mean. This is our first journey beyond our solar system. We've never met other species before. The alien's eyes widened. You claim to be new? Impossible. Your kind ruled the stars when our ancestors were still crawling. From the oceans? Jack muted their transmission. Commander, what are they talking about? Lisa shook her head. I don't know. But they clearly think we're something we're not. She unmuted the channel. We assure you, we mean no harm. We are peaceful explorers. The alien made a gesture that might have been disbelief. I am Zextal, captain of the Novali research vessel. Our ship was damaged by a solar flare. If you truly come in peace, perhaps we could exchange information. We would welcome that, Lisa said carefully. We can offer assistance with your repairs. Zextal seemed to consider this. Very well. You may dock with our vessel, but only 3 of your kind may board. After the transmission ended, the crew erupted in excited conversation. They're terrified of us, Daniel said. Did you see how they reacted? What are these galactic monsters they think we are? Olivia wondered. And what are the forbidden zones? Added Amanda. Lisa held up a hand. We'll find out. Jack, Daniel, you're with me. Amanda and Olivia, stay with the ship and keep analyzing their vessel. They docked carefully with the alien ship. When the airlock opened, Lisa led her team inside. The corridors were taller and wider than human ships, with curved walls that glowed with soft light. The air smelled like cinnamon and salt. A group of Novali waited for them, keeping their distance. Their bodies seemed to ripple slightly when they moved, as if their skin wasn't quite solid. We welcome you, Zextal said, though its posture remained tense. Though I must ask, how can you claim to be new space travelers when your kind once ruled the stars? We truly don't know what you mean, Lisa replied. Our civilization has never left our solar system before now. Curious, Zextal said. Perhaps you are a lost colony? Come, I will show you something. The alien led them to a large room filled with holographic displays. With a wave of its hand, Zextal brought up a map of the galaxy. Nearly a third of it was marked in red. These are the forbidden zones, it explained. Areas where the galactic monsters once ruled. For 50,000 years, no species has dared enter them. Jack stepped forward. And you think we're these ... monsters? You have their shape, another Novali said. Thales described them walking on 2 legs with forward-facing eyes like predators. They conquered thousands of worlds before vanishing. Suddenly, Lisa studied the map closely. Earth was not within any red zone. We come from here, she said, pointing to their home. The aliens made their clicking sound again. That cannot be. That world was barren when last surveyed, long ago. Before they could discuss further, an alarm sounded. A Novali rushed into the room, speaking rapidly to Zextal. We have received a distress signal, Zextal explained. A trading station is reporting unusual activity near the edge of a forbidden zone. Lisa saw an opportunity. We could travel there together. Perhaps meeting other species will help clarify this misunderstanding. Zextal hesitated, then nodded. Perhaps it is time for old fears to be challenged. If you truly do not know your past, then maybe there is more to this mystery than we realized. As they returned to their ships and prepared to journey together to the trading station, Lisa couldn't shake the strange feeling that humanity's place in the universe was not what they had always believed. Something waited for them among the stars, not just new discoveries, but old secrets too. The Horizon and the Novali vessel set course together, heading toward answers that would change humanity forever. The journey to Centric Station took 3 days. Lisa spent much of that time with Zextal, learning about the Novali and the wider galactic community. The more she learned, the more confused she became. Over 40 known intelligent species trade and travel between the stars, Zextal explained. Its skin rippling with colors that Lisa now understood expressed emotions, but all avoid the forbidden zones. And nobody knows what happened to these galactic monsters? Lisa asked. They vanished. Suddenly, about 50,000 years ago. Some believe they destroyed themselves in a great war. Others think they ascended to a higher plane of existence. As they approached Centric Station, Lisa marveled at the massive structure. It looked like a giant metal flower with 6 enormous petals extending from a central hub. Ships of various designs moved around it like bees around a hive. It's beautiful, Jack said. Standing beside her at the viewing window. Zextal made a sound that their translation program identified as agreement. It serves as a neutral meeting place for all species. You will be the first of your kind to visit the Horizon docked at one of the smaller ports. Lisa, Jack, Amanda, Daniel, and Olivia prepared to disembark. Zextal had warned them that their appearance might cause concern. "I will announce you first," the Navali captain said. "Please wait until I signal you." They watched on the screen as Zextal entered the station and spoke to a tall, thin alien with 4 arms and gray skin. This was Kilvex, the station administrator. The conversation seemed tense. Kilvex's upper arms kept making sweeping motions, while its lower arms remained tightly crossed. Finally, Zextal waved toward the ship. "They are ready. Remember, move slowly." Lisa led her crew through the airlock and onto Centric Station. The main hall was vast, with a high ceiling and walls that seemed to be made of some kind of living crystal. Dozens of different alien species filled the space, engaged in what appeared to be trading and socializing. When the humans entered, all activity stopped. A wave of silence spread across the hall. Aliens of all shapes and sizes turned to stare at them. Some backed away, others froze in place. A few small creatures actually fled, making high-pitched sounds of alarm. "They're terrified," Daniel whispered, his hand instinctively moving toward his sidearm. "Keep your hands visible and stay calm," Lisa ordered quietly. Kilvex approached them, its 4 arms now all held stiffly at its sides. Up close, Lisa could see that its gray skin had a subtle pattern like tree bark. "I am Kilvex, administrator of Centric Station," it said, voice deeper than Lisa expected. "Captain Zextal claims you are not what you appear to be," Lisa nodded. "We are humans from Earth. We only recently developed the technology to travel between stars. This is our first contact with other intelligent life." Kilvex's large black eyes blinked in a vertical motion. "You match the historical descriptions of the Dominators perfectly." "Dominators?" Jack asked. "What some call the Galactic Monsters," Kilvex explained. "They were feared across the galaxy for their military power and territorial aggression." Amanda stepped forward. "We assure you our civilization has never left our solar system before now. We have no knowledge of these Dominators or any galactic history." Kilvex studied them for a long moment. "Curious. Very curious. You may remain on the station, but only in designated areas, for everyone's comfort." The crowd of aliens slowly resumed their activities, though many continued to watch the humans with obvious fear or suspicion. Kilvex assigned them quarters in a section of the station that seemed largely empty. "These areas are rarely used," it explained. "They were designed long ago to accommodate ... your body type." After the administrator left, Daniel examined the rooms. These were made for humans. "Look at the bed sizes, the chair heights, everything." "But that doesn't make sense," Olivia said. "If these Dominators disappeared 50,000 years ago, why would they maintain rooms for them?" Lisa didn't have an answer. "Let's split up and learn what we can." Jack and Daniel explore the public areas but stay together. "Amanda and Olivia, see if you can access the station's information systems. I'll try to talk with Kilvex again." Amanda and Olivia found a terminal in their quarters. While Olivia worked on bypassing the security, Amanda reviewed what they'd learned so far. "The timing doesn't add up," she said. 50,000 years ago, humans on Earth were still primitive. We certainly weren't conquering the galaxy." Olivia nodded, fingers dancing across the alien interface. "Maybe they're confusing us with another species, or maybe it's all just stories." "I'm in," Olivia suddenly announced. "I found their historical archives." Amanda leaned closer as images and text appeared on the screen. "Can you find information about these Dominators?" Olivia navigated through the alien database. "Here's something. Ancient records describe them as aggressive bipeds with forward-facing eyes, flat faces, and exposed skin covering varying in color from pale to dark brown. That does sound like humans. Keep looking." Meanwhile, Jack and Daniel walked through the public areas of the station. Aliens moved out of their way, creating a bubble of empty space around them. "This is getting old fast," Daniel muttered. "Look at it from their perspective," Jack said, Imagine if creatures from old horror stories suddenly showed up at a mall on Earth. They entered what appeared to be a museum. Display cases held artifacts from various civilizations. At the far end of the room was a sealed door with warnings in multiple languages. "What do you think is in there?" Daniel asked. "Let's find out." They approached the door, but a small, insect-like alien quickly moved to block their path. "Not permitted," it chittered. "Dominator artifacts? Dangerous." Back in their quarters, Lisa met with the others to share what they had learned. The historical texts describe a massive war, Amanda explained. The Dominators fought against some enemy they called the Devourers. Both sides nearly wiped each other out. "And look at this," Olivia added, showing an image on her tablet. It displayed a symbol found in the historical archives, a circle, with 3 lines crossing through it. Daniel leaned forward. "That looks like ancient Earth writing, similar to early Sumerian." "Exactly," Olivia said. "And I found coordinates in the restricted files. Coordinates to a planet deep within the largest forbidden zone." Lisa studied the information. Something strange was happening here. Either these aliens were mistaking humans for another species, or there was a connection between the Dominators and humanity that they never knew existed. "We need to see that planet," she decided. "If these Dominators really look like humans, maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's a connection we don't understand." "The aliens won't like that," Jack warned. "These forbidden zones are off-limits." Lisa looked at each member of her crew. "We came here to explore and to learn. Something important is waiting for us on that planet. I can feel it." "So we're going?" Daniel asked. Lisa nodded. "We leave tonight while the station sleeps. We need to find the truth about these galactic monsters and why everyone thinks we're them." As the humans prepared to sneak back to their ship, none of them noticed the small recording device hidden in the corner of their room or the worried Kilvex, watching their conversation from the security center deep within Centric Station. Leaving Centric Station proved easier than expected. The night cycle had reduced the number of aliens in the docking areas, and the few guards seemed reluctant to approach the humans too closely. The horizon detached quietly and moved away from the station. Lisa watched nervously from the command chair, expecting alarms or pursuit ships at any moment. "None came? That was almost too easy," Daniel said, checking the security systems. "They're probably happy to see us go," Jack replied. Olivia input the coordinates they had found in the station's database. "The planet is deep in the Forbidden Zone. It will take us about 4 days to reach it," Lisa nodded. "Let's hope we find some answers there." As they approached the edge of the Forbidden Zone, tension grew among the crew. No one knew what to expect. The zone was marked clearly on alien star charts but contained no warnings about defenses or dangers. "Crossing into the Forbidden Zone now," Amanda announced. For a few minutes, nothing happened. Then alarms blared across the bridge. "Multiple objects approaching," Daniel shouted. "They're moving fast." Lisa gripped the arms of her chair. "Defensive posture, weapons on standby only." The objects surrounded the horizon, moving with incredible precision. They were sleek, metallic spheres about the size of cars, with no visible engines or weapons. "They're scanning us," Olivia reported, studying her console. "Very intense scans. They're going right through our shields." The crew waited anxiously as the scan continued. Finally, the spheres stopped. A symbol appeared on the main screen, the same circle with 3 intersecting lines they had seen in the historical records. "What's happening?" Jack asked Dot before anyone could answer. The spheres moved into a formation ahead of the horizon and began pulsing with soft blue light. I think they want us to follow them," Amanda said. Lisa made a quick decision. "Let's see where they lead us, but be ready to pull back if anything seems threatening." The spheres guided the horizon deeper into the Forbidden Zone eventually, bringing them to a planet that shone like a blue-green jewel against the darkness of space. "It's beautiful," Lisa said softly. "And the readings show it's Earth-like. Breathable atmosphere, comfortable gravity. There's something strange about the surface," Amanda noted. "Massive geometric patterns. I think they're ruins." The spheres led them to a landing site, a vast flat area surrounded by the remains of what must have once been enormous buildings. As the horizon touched down, Lisa prepared the team for their first steps on this mysterious world. "Full environmental suits until we verify the atmosphere," she ordered. "Daniel and Jack, you're with me. Amanda and Olivia, monitor from the ship and be ready for immediate takeoff if needed." The planet's surface crunched under their boots as they stepped out. The sky above was a deeper blue than Earth's, with 2 small moons visible despite the daylight. Around them stretched the ruins of what must have been a magnificent city. Massive columns and archways, now broken and covered with a moss-like growth, still hinted at the grandeur that once existed here. "These buildings," Daniel said in awe, "they would have been hundreds of stories tall." "And look at this," Jack called, kneeling beside a fallen stone block. "These carvings ... double quotes." Lisa joined him and felt a chill run down her spine. The carvings showed bipedal figures that could easily have been human. They wore elaborate clothing and appeared to be engaged in some kind of ceremony. "This can't be a coincidence," she said. "They look exactly like us." The spheres that had guided them remained floating nearby. Now one of them descended and hovered directly in front of Lisa. A beam of light emerged from it, scanning her from head to toe. "Entity confirmed," a mechanical voice suddenly said in perfect English. "Genetic pattern recognized, though divergent. Follow." Stunned that the sphere spoke their language, the humans followed as it led them toward the largest structure. Still standing, a pyramid-like building with a flattened top. Unlike the other ruins, this one showed fewer signs of damage or decay. As they approached, a doorway appeared in what had seemed like solid wall. The sphere floated inside, and after a moment of hesitation, Lisa and her team followed. The interior was dark until they stepped fully inside. Then soft lights activated, revealing a long corridor that sloped gently downward. The walls were covered with more carvings of human-like figures, along with the 3-line circle symbol they had seen before. "This technology still works after 50,000 years?" Daniel whispered. "Maybe longer," Jack replied. "Who knows how old this place really is?" The corridor led them to a large, circular chamber. In the center stood a pedestal with what looked like a control panel. As Lisa approached it, the floor around the pedestal lit up with a spiral pattern of light that expanded outward. The sphere that had guided them positioned itself above the pedestal. Activation sequence initiated. Stand by for Guardian Protocol. The lights in the room pulsed once, and then a figure appeared before them, a hologram of a man, wearing ornate clothing that seemed to combine elements of ancient Earth cultures with technology far beyond anything humans currently possessed. "Greetings, descendants," the hologram said. "I am Guardian Protocol 7, custodian of the progenitor archives on Outpost World 13. Lisa stepped forward. Do you recognize us?" The hologram tilted its head. "Your genetic pattern is recognized, though it has evolved significantly. You are of human stock, descendants of the progenitors, though your development appears to have followed an unexpected path." "Progenitors?" Jack asked. "The human empire that once spanned a third of this galaxy," the hologram replied. "What some species now fearfully call the Dominators or Galactic Monsters." Lisa felt her heart racing. "That's impossible. Humans evolved. On Earth, we've only just developed space travel." The hologram seemed to consider this. "Interesting. The historical records indicate that when the final war with the Devourers concluded, a small group of survivors fled to a primitive world to escape extinction. They abandoned their technology and chose to live simply, hoping to avoid the attention of any remaining Devourers." "Are you saying that world was Earth?" Daniel asked. "Designation Sol 3 was indeed one of the emergency evacuation sites," the hologram confirmed. "If what you say is true, then the survivors must have integrated with the primitive hominids already evolving there." Lisa struggled to process this information. "You're telling us that humans once ruled a galactic empire millions of years before we built our first rocket." "Not millions," the hologram corrected. "Approximately 50,000. Years ago by your counting. The progenitor civilization existed for nearly 10,000 years before the war that nearly destroyed them. And these devourers? Jack asked. What were they? The hologram's expression darkened. A parasitic species that consumed the life force of other sentient beings. They sought to enslave the younger races. The progenitors fought to protect these developing species, but the final conflict nearly destroyed both sides. Lisa looked around the chamber at the ancient technology that still functioned perfectly after 50 millennia. So we're not newcomers to the galaxy at all, she said softly. We're the returning children of an ancient, forgotten human empire. Yes, the hologram said simply. And now that you have returned to the stars, there is much you must learn. The archives contain the full history of your ancestors and warnings about dangers that may still exist. Lisa exchanged looks with Jack and Daniel. What they had discovered would change humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. Forever. They weren't feared monsters after all. They were the descendants of protectors, returning to a legacy they never knew they had. Lisa and her crew spent 3 days exploring the ancient facility. The holographic guardian, which they began calling Seven, gave them access to vast archives of knowledge about the progenitors, their ancient human ancestors. I still can't believe it, Amanda said as they gathered in what appeared to be a meeting room. Holographic displays showed star maps and images of progenitor ships and cities. Our ancestors ruled the stars while our direct human line on Earth was still figuring out basic tools. It explains so much, Jack added. Why aliens are terrified of us. Why we look exactly like the carvings here. Lisa studied a holographic image of a progenitor in full ceremonial dress. The similarities were unmistakable. They were human. In every important way, though their technology had been far beyond anything modern humans had achieved. Seven, Lisa called, and the Guardian's hologram appeared instantly. You mentioned other outposts. Are there more facilities like this one? Affirmative, Seven replied. 17 primary archive worlds were established before the final evacuation. This facility contains coordinates for all of them. Daniel looked up from a terminal where he had been reviewing historical records. According to this, the progenitors weren't conquerors. They were protectors. That is correct, Seven confirmed. When the progenitors first developed faster-than-light travel, they discovered many younger species being harvested by the devourers. The progenitors used their military might to protect these developing civilizations. So the stories about galactic monsters were wrong? Olivia asked. Not entirely, Seven replied. Progenitor warships were terrifying to behold, and their weapons could destroy entire fleets. To those they protected, they were guardians. To the devourers and their thralls, they were indeed monsters to be feared. Lisa made a decision. We need to visit at least one more archive world, preferably one with more complete records about the war and what happened to the devourers. Seven's hologram nodded. I recommend Outpost World 8. It was a primary military command center and contains the most detailed records of the final conflict. The crew prepared to leave. Seven provided them with a small crystalline device that would allow them to access other progenitor facilities. This recognition key will identify you as authorized descendants, Seven explained. The automated defenses will permit your passage. As they boarded the horizon, Lisa felt a strange mix of emotions. Pride in the discovery of their heritage, concern about what it might mean for humanity's future, and curiosity about what they would find next. The journey to Outpost World 8 took only 2 days. Unlike the first planet, this one showed signs of massive devastation visible even from orbit. Huge impact craters scarred the surface, and what once might have been oceans were now dry basins. There was a battle here, Daniel said quietly as they observed the planet from the bridge. A big one. They landed near a facility built into the side of a mountain, one of the few structures still intact. Using the recognition key, they gained entry easily. Inside, they found another Guardian, this one identifying itself as Sentinel-4. This outpost served as Command Nexus Theta during the final phase of the Devourer War, Sentinel-4 told them. The records here are extensive but grim. The Guardian led them to a secure chamber deep within the mountain. Here they found records quite different from the historical archives on the First World. These were military reports, battle strategies, and disturbing details about their enemy. The Devourers were not a natural species, Sentinel-4 explained, displaying a hologram of a strange, shifting mass that seemed to have no fixed form. They evolved as a collective consciousness capable of overtaking and controlling other sentient beings. They consumed neural energy while leaving the host physically intact but mentally enslaved, Jack shuddered. They sound like parasites. An apt description, Sentinel-4 agreed. They targeted developing intelligent species, turning them into thralls and feeding on their neural energy. The progenitors discovered this when investigating why several promising young civilizations had suddenly turned violent and expansionist. Lisa watched as the hologram showed images of various alien species with strange, dark tendrils extending from their bodies, signs of devourer infestation. The war lasted nearly 2 centuries, Sentinel-4 continued. The progenitors fought to protect the free species of the galaxy, but the devourers were insidious. They could hide within infected hosts, making them difficult to detect until it was too late. How did the war end? Amanda asked. Sentinel-4's hologram seemed to dim slightly. In desperation, the Devourers created a bioweapon specifically targeted at human neural patterns. It spread rapidly through progenitor worlds, killing billions. The remaining progenitors launched a final, devastating counterattack, deploying weapons that would seal the Devourers in pocket dimensions where they would be trapped for millennia. Did it work? Daniel asked. Partially, Sentinel-4 replied. Most Devourer collectives were contained, but some escaped. The surviving progenitors, fearing that any remaining Devourers would hunt them to extinction, abandoned their technology and fled to primitive worlds where they hoped to remain undetected. Earth, Lisa said softly. Yes, your world was one of several selected for emergency relocation. The survivors deliberately chose primitive planets where they could blend with evolving species and hide from devourer detection. Olivia had been quiet, reviewing data at a terminal. Now she looked up, her face pale. According to these calculations, if the devourers were trapped in those pocket dimensions, they would begin to escape around ... Now, the seals were designed to last approximately 50,000 years. A chill fell over the room as the implications sank in. Is there any way to detect if devourers are active again? Lisa asked. Sentinel-4 brought up another display. This facility has maintained limited monitoring capabilities. Long-range sensors have detected unusual energy patterns in recent decades, consistent with devourer emergence. The patterns are currently concentrated at the galactic fringe, but spreading inward. So they're coming back, Jack said grimly, and the galaxy thinks we're the monsters. Lisa stared at the display showing the energy patterns. We need to return to Centric Station with this information. The other species need to know the truth, both about us and about the real threat that's returning. They won't believe us, Daniel argued. They've feared the galactic monsters for 50,000 years. We can't just show up and tell them they've got it all wrong. We'll bring proof, Lisa decided. Sentinel-4, can you provide us with data we can share? And perhaps some progenitor technology to demonstrate our connection? This facility contains numerous artifacts that would serve as evidence, Sentinel-4 confirmed. However, I must warn you, revealing yourselves as descendants of the progenitors may put you in danger. If the Devourers have truly returned, they will remember their ancient enemy. Lisa looked at her crew, seeing determination in their faces. Earth needs to know about this too. About our true history and the threat that might be coming. We have a responsibility to both our ancestors and to the galaxy. As they gathered the evidence they would need, Lisa couldn't help feeling that their mission had changed completely. They had come seeking first contact with alien life. Instead, they had discovered that humans were returning to a galactic stage they had once helped shape, and to an ancient war that might not be over. The horizon approached Centric Station with caution. Lisa knew their sudden departure and return would raise questions. She had spent the journey preparing how to present their discoveries to the alien community. "They're hailing us," Jack reported from his station. "It's Administrator Kilvex. He doesn't sound happy." "Put him through," Lisa said, straightening her uniform. Kilvex appeared on screen, all four arms rigid with tension. "Commander Wright, you left without authorization and entered a forbidden zone. Explain yourselves immediately." "Administrator, we've made discoveries that change everything," Lisa replied calmly. "We request permission to dock and share what we've learned. It concerns the safety of the entire galaxy." The alien's vertical eyelids blinked rapidly. "You will be met by security forces. Any hostile action will result in immediate consequences." When the Horizon docked, a dozen armed guards from various species waited for them. The humans disembarked slowly, carrying cases of artifacts and data crystals from the progenitor archives. Kilvex stood behind the guards. "You will be escorted to a secure meeting chamber. The Council of Species has been summoned to hear your explanation." The meeting chamber was a large amphitheater with rising tiers of seats. Representatives from over 20 different species filled the room, their murmurs creating a buzz of nervous energy. The humans were directed to a platform in the center. "Before we begin," Lisa said, addressing the assembly, "I want to introduce someone." She activated the crystal device they had brought from the archive world. A hologram formed beside her. Sentinel-4, gasps and cries of alarm spread through the chamber. Several aliens rose from their seats as if to flee. "Please remain calm," Lisa said firmly. "This is a Guardian AI from an ancient archive. It has important information for all of you." Kilvex stepped forward. "What trickery is this? You bring Forbidden's technology into our midst?" "Not Forbidden's," Sentinel-4 replied, its voice echoing through the chamber. "Forgotten. I am Sentinel-4, Guardian of Progenitor Archive. World 8. These humans have reactivated our network after 50,000 years of dormancy." A hush fell over the assembly as the implications sank in. Zextel, who had been watching silently, moved closer to the platform. "You claim these humans are connected to the Dominators?" the Novali captain asked. "The beings you call Dominators or Galactic Monsters were the progenitors, an advanced human civilization," Sentinel-4 explained. "The humans before you are their descendants, though their path of development was altered when the survivors fled to Earth and abandoned their technology." Lisa stepped forward. "We've learned that our ancestors weren't conquerors. They were protectors, fighting against a parasitic species called the Devourers that enslaved developing civilizations." Amanda activated a display showing historical records they had brought. Images of ancient battles and star maps filled the air above the platform. "The progenitors fought a war to protect younger species from being harvested," Lisa continued. "When they were nearly defeated, they used their remaining strength to trap the Devourers in pocket dimensions. Then the survivors hit on primitive worlds like Earth, integrating with the native populations and deliberately forgetting their past to avoid detection." Murmurs spread through the chamber again, this time with a different tone. Confusion, rather, than fear. "If what you say is true," Kilvex said, "then why reveal this now?" Daniel activated another display showing the energy readings from the galactic fringe. "Because the containment is failing. After 50,000 years, the Devourers are beginning to escape, and they'll remember their old enemy." Silence fell over the assembly as the aliens processed this information. Then an elderly alien with pale, translucent skin rose from a seat near the front. Lisa recognized the species from the archives. A Vethran, one of the oldest races in the galaxy. "I am Elder Quinthal," the alien said in a thin voice. "Our oldest histories speak of a time before the Dominators disappeared, when our ancestors were young. They tell of dark times when worlds went silent, their populations enslaved by shadow beings that fed on thought and will." The elder moved closer, studying the humans with enormous eyes. "Then came the Protectors, fierce warriors who fought the shadows and created safe havens for developing species. When both sides nearly destroyed each other, the Protectors vanished, and the shadows were locked away. The forbidden zones were established to prevent anyone from disturbing either force. Zextal joined the elder. Are you saying the old stories were true, that the dominators were not monsters but guardians? It appears our histories became distorted over time, the elder replied. Fear replaced gratitude. The protectors became the monsters in our stories. Olivia stepped forward with another artifact, a small device that projected an image of the ancient progenitor symbol, the circle with 3 intersecting lines. This was the emblem of the progenitor protection force, she explained. It represented their mission to defend the 3 spiral arms of the galaxy under their protection. A ripple of recognition passed through the assembly. Many of the aliens clearly knew the symbol, though they had feared it. What would you have us do with this information? Kilvex asked, his tone now more cautious than hostile. Lisa took a deep breath. First, understand that humans aren't your enemy. We're only just rediscovering our heritage. Second, help us prepare for the return of the real threat. The Devourers will target developing worlds first, just as they did before. We need to establish monitoring systems and warning networks. And if the Devourers do return in force? Another alien representative called out. What then? Your ancestors, with all their advanced technology, could barely contain them. You have nothing close to their power. Lisa looked at Sentinel-4, who nodded slightly. The archives contain the designs for progenitor defensive systems, she said. Not weapons of conquest, but shields and detection networks that could protect vulnerable worlds. With your help, we could adapt them to modern technology. The chamber erupted in discussion. Lisa could see the aliens were torn between lingering fear of humans and the new fear of the returning DVOURERS. Finally, Elder Quinthel raised a hand for silence. I believe these humans speak truth. The cycle returns and we must prepare. I propose a new alliance, not based on fear, but on the common need for survival. Over the next hours, the beginnings of an agreement took shape. Humans would share the progenitor archive knowledge. The galactic species would contribute their various technologies and resources. Together, they would reestablish the monitoring network that once protected the galaxy. As the meeting concluded, Zextal approached Lisa. It seems we misjudged your kind for 50,000 years. The children of the protectors have returned to the stars, Lisa smiled. We never knew our own history. Now we have a chance to honor it by continuing the work our ancestors began. Back on the horizon, Lisa prepared a message to be sent to Earth. Humanity needed to know about their true heritage and the responsibility that came with it. They weren't feared monsters after all, but the descendants of those who once stood against the darkness. As she recorded her message, Lisa looked out at the stars. The truth had changed everything. Humans weren't newcomers to the galactic community. They were returning children with an ancient legacy to reclaim. And this time, they wouldn't face the coming threat alone. To Earth Central Command, she began. We have discovered something extraordinary about humanity's past and a threat to our future. The stars remember us even if we forgot them, and now it's time for us to remember too.